So here's a project I've been working on for a while now. It's a Heathkit AG-9A tone generator, and I like to dabble around with some old vintage electronics and bring them back to life again. So this one I'm picking up again and having a look. I've already done most of the work to it. I have a couple more resistors to change, and I have these two capacitors to solder in, and that should pretty much finish it. So kind of show you what I did a little bit here. So I've already replaced these capacitors. They tested out of tolerance, so change those out. And then underneath, I basically checked every resistor in here, and I found that most of them were out of spec. So the last two I have to change is this one here, and there's another one on the other side that's the same one down there. And but pretty much every other resistor has been changed out. And same with this capacitor, that capacitor. One of the only original resistors is this one, and depending on how heavily it was used, this one will probably fail too. It heats up quite severely, so if I do have to change it out, I'll put a chassis mount resistor on. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate how to use the Heathkit IT21 tube checker. I've recently refurbished this and brought it back to life again, and it seems to perform well. So let's get to it. So there are 3 tubes in the AG-9A tone generator, and so there is a 6AU6, a 6CL6, and a 6X4. So the 6X4 is a rectifier tube. Basically, it's a diode, and pretty neat how that is. And so first of all, we're going to start off with the 6AU6, which is a pentode, and this is what it looks like here, and it fits in this socket right here. So first thing we need to do though is figure out what we need to set everything to. So right here, it's kind of hard for you to see, and I can't zoom in much closer than this. There's a roll chart here for every tube you could ever think of. So all I have to do is look for the 6AU6, which is right here, and there's some titles up here. So type, which is this knob here, so it's a type 2, so I just have to set that to 2. Filament 6.3, so that's the filament voltage, so 6.3. And this is a 6AU6, so the 6 at the beginning tells you what the filament voltage is, so 6.3 volts. Plate set to 22, so we'll set this knob here to 22, and then we get into the switches. So it says top, and so A, B, E, and F are at the top. So A, B, E, and F, and then D and G to the bottom. And so this just basically makes the connections to the different parts of the tube: the filament, the grid, the cathode, the anode, the screen, or the control grid, depending on what on the type of tube. So then we set all that, and then what we want to do is now we'll basically energize it. So the see over here it says set line. So this is our line voltage. So when we start to turn this, we're going to see this needle move. And this says line test, and there's a little black box. So we have to have that needle in that black box to start. So, and we'll notice the light came on in the scroll chart. So then we'll keep turning it up. We're almost in there. There, we're a little bit past center, but we're good there. And then we're going to plug the tube in. There we go. So now it's going to heat up. So in a vacuum tube, there's a filament, and the filament kind of lights up like a tiny little light bulb. And what that does is that helps the cathode shed electrons to the anode, and that's basically the idea of a vacuum tube, is the electrons flowing from the cathode to the anode. So we'll wait for that to heat up a little bit. First thing we're going to do is check for shorts. There's a switch up here. There's short at the top and leakage at the bottom, so we're going to push that up to short. And then on the chart here, there are letters in bold and in light type. You probably can't see it. But A, B, E, F, and G are all in light type. So for the short check, we are going to cycle each of those switches from top to bottom or bottom to top and see if there's a little light here, to see if this light illuminates. And so A is good, B is good, E is good, F is good, and G is good. The next thing we're going to do is check for leakage. So then we're going to stick this down and basically going to do the exact same thing. So A and B are good. E is good. F is good. And G is good. So no shorts and no leakages, so that's good. Now we're going to check the quality. So getting warm there now. So this is a switch over here that is test. So we flip that over here and it's right off the chart. So that's excellent. That's what we want to see. So that's good. Now we're checking for any false open elements inside the tube. So what we do is we hold that down into the test position. And then we move any of these switches that are in the top position down. So, and we'll see, we will see a drop. We will want to see a drop. And what we can do is we can drop the plate voltage down a bit to bring it on scale like that. And then we can move. So that's what you want to see. You want to see a drop. Now, some of it isn't very much, but there was a drop with that one. E, very, very slight drop. F, definitely, so that one's good. And so those are all the tops. So that's all good. And that one that gave the big drop, A, that was most likely the grid. And then next we're going to check any other elements inside for continuity. So we're going to take the filament voltage and drop it down to 0.63 and move each lever that's in the dark type. The only one is D. So we're going to move D from bottom to top, and you can see that lit up. That's what we want to see. That's actually a pass. So that's telling us that we have continuity. So that tube's good. So that's a demonstration on how this tube checker works.